Alrighty, folks, we are live. It is Wednesday morning. If you're on the East Coast here, or any coast for that matter, does not matter. Alright, folks, we have some breaking news in regards to a very, very important election that just took place. This is one of the most consequential mayoral elections in a long time, I think, and the entire nation is watching. And I think a lot of people are surprised. Some sides are surprised, of course, while some are not. And this is, of course, in regards to the Chicago mayor, Lori Lightfoot. She was the first black woman and the first openly gay person ever to serve as mayor of Chicago. But now, as of Tuesday this week, she has now become just a one-term mayor, despite what people think of her. And, we have 99% of the vote in, so this is 100% confirmed. Can't go back, can't change this now. So let's get started here in just a moment. Let's wait for the YouTube algorithm to kick in here. We do have some people hopping on. Welcome, welcome. All right, if you guys are first joining us, make sure you go ahead and smash the like button. I would appreciate that. It does help with the YouTube algorithm so we can push this live out to even more people. And if you haven't already, of course, make sure you are subscribed with notifications turned on. Turn that bell on, and that will notify you every time we do post a brand new video or go live on this channel like we're doing right now. So, folks, if you haven't heard the news yet, Lori Lightfoot is indeed out, and she will lose her bid for a second term. This as she fails to make a top two runoff in the latest demonstration of growing concerns about crime in one of the nation's largest cities. Obviously, crime played a huge factor in this, as well as several other factors. I mean, you could point to the economy and the pandemic. Those were certainly factors as well. I think for a lot of people, they're saying that crime was really the biggest reason here behind their vote and why they wanted to oust the current mayor. And if you look at it, a longtime public schools chief who ran on a tough on crime message, that's Paul Vallis, as well as Brandon Johnson, who is a Cook County commissioner backed by progressives and the Chicago Teachers Union. They will advance to the April runoff, and one of them will indeed become the next mayor of Chicago, and Lori Lightfoot will not get another chance. So Tuesday's municipal election has actually marked the first time in more than 30 years that Chicago has ditched its mayor. Lightfoot could not overcome years of fights with the police and teachers unions, spike in violent crime during her administration, and Chicago's slow recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. All those played a role. Lightfoot did concede Tuesday evening, telling her supporters that she is now, quote, rooting and praying for the next mayor of Chicago. So no election denying or trying to say it was rigged, anything like that. She openly admits that she indeed lost this election, as it should be. Paul Vallis built his campaign around a pro-police, tough-on-crime message, one he had highlighted in celebratory remarks after Lightfoot had called Vallis and Johnson to concede. Quote, we will have a safe Chicago. We will make Chicago the safest city in America, according to Vallis. Now, the big question over the next 5 weeks is whether Vallis's more conservative message will attract enough support to win in a city where 83% of votes in the 2020 presidential race went to the Democratic ticket. So, obviously, there is going to be a share of support for him, but the vast majority may not be able to back Paul Vallis. And, whether that specific city flips and we see sort of a shift in the city of Chicago, and maybe they do want to go more of a conservative route, more tough on crime, pro-police route, that's another question. We don't necessarily know that just yet. Johnson, in his speech Tuesday night, showed his first signs that he will seek to consolidate liberals who supported other candidates in the 9-person field. He cited each candidate by name. He said, quote, if you voted for one of those other candidates, I want you to know that I'm running to be the mayor of you too. So Johnson is attempting to get everyone on his side of the aisle behind him for this race. And I think the entire country is going to be watching this one. This one's going to be an edge of the seat nail biter because at the end of the day, Chicago, who of course has been historically leaning left, this could very well flip. And I think this could also be kind of a microcosm of the remainder of the country and the cities, specifically big cities. We might potentially be seeing this shift here to a more conservative ideology. Now, because no candidate is on course to top 50% in Tuesday's election, the top 2 of the 9 candidates on the ballot are moving on to the April 4th runoff. Now, Lightfoot, again, that was the first black woman and first outwardly gay person to serve as mayor in a city. and that was often pilloried by conservatives in a national debates over violence and gun control. She rose to prominence as a pugnacious reformer, promising a break from the corruption and clubby governance that had long marked Chicago's politics. Years of contentious brawls over policing, teacher pay, COVID-19 safety policies, as well as mounting complaints about long waits in Chicago's public transit system, that left her vulnerable, and that raised the stunning prospect of the second city ousting its incumbent mayor in the first round of voting. Lightfoot found herself with a few allies in her bid for a second term, a host of powerful interests aligned against her. The Chicago Fraternal Order of Police endorsed Vallis, and the Chicago Teachers Union backed Johnson. Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker, with whom Lightfoot has clashed, actually stayed out of the race entirely, so he didn't necessarily become a big factor in this. It was part and parcel because of the other two candidates, not necessarily the current governor, so you can't really shift the blame towards him if you're on the Democratic side. Now, more than 500,000 ballots had been cast by the time that polls closed Tuesday. Chicago's elections, according to the election officials in that city, more mail-in votes will be added to that total as they arrive, but we do have the vast majority of precincts in, and the projection is that she will lose, and she's already conceded. Now, concerns about crime and public safety have rattled Chicago. Violence in the city spiked in 2020 and 2021. A lot of crime did spike, though, throughout the pandemic, so Chicago was not alone. And through shootings and murders have decreased since then, but other crimes, including theft, carjacking, robberies, and burglaries, have increased since last year, according to the police department in Chicago. And the dynamic has been similar to what played out in another big city mayoral election in recent years. For example, New York City Mayor Eric Adams won with a pro-police, tough-on-crime message in 21. In Los Angeles, voters elected Representative Karen Bass last year over billionaire developer Rick Caruso, who had pumped $100 million into a campaign in which he had focused on a pitch for law and order. So you do have a bit of a differential here, but again, these big cities might be shifting towards more of a conservative mayor. Eric Adams obviously is a Democrat, however, you can call him somewhat of a centrist. He's not necessarily an extremely left-leaning liberal. Chicago's municipal elections are nonpartisan, but none of the candidates on the ballot Tuesday called themselves Republicans. Still, Lightfoot sought to portray Vallis that way. He attacked her on her record on crime early in the campaign and was backed by the conservative police union. Johnson, meanwhile, ate away at Lightfoot's support among progressives. He had actually once advocated reducing police funding, but has backtracked from that message more recently, arguing that he wants to increase funding for other priorities such as mental health treatment. He had said in an ad, quote, "Lori Lightfoot hasn't made Chicago safer, but I will. It's time to get smart, not just tough." So a little backpedal there from Johnson. I think the defund the police message maybe didn't resonate as well in that particular city, which obviously has one of the highest crime rates in the nation. So interesting how the defund the police message has kind of dissipated. You don't see too many candidates still calling for that. In fact, just off my memory, I can't think of one candidate that is still advocating for defunding the police as far as actually currently running in a race. Obviously, some of the current people in government, whether that's at the local level or at the federal level, might still have that ideology and might still think that, but they're not even necessarily pushing that on Twitter, calling for defunding the police or saying that's in their election bid. So perhaps that message did not resonate well with the majority of the American people, and that is why Johnson did take that back. So I'm curious what you guys think of this. Do you think that Lori Lightfoot, maybe she has a chance in the future at running again, or do you think this is pretty much it for her and her political career might have come to an end? I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know down below in the comment section. I'm curious to hear. If you do live in the city of Chicago, what do you think is going to go on there? I mean, did you support Lightfoot? Did you support another candidate? Do you think someone else is better for the job? Let us know down below in the comment section. I'm curious to hear. And for my Facebook audience, do let me know in that comment section as well. So with that being said, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be watching this election carefully. Again, all updates and developments can be found right here on this channel. Make sure you go ahead and smash the like button if you haven't already. Make sure you are subscribed. If you want to get some free stocks, all on me, all free, use the brokerage links down below in the description. When you sign up with the brokerage platforms, Robinhood and or Webull, you'll get some free stocks, some guide ups to thousands of dollars. So that's what stocks you get. And if you want to connect me on social media, I am on Instagram, on Facebook, I am on TikTok. Use the social links down below. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Take care for now. Hope you enjoyed.